Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Anything Goes with Anna Rose. And also Ryan.
Yes, I'm back again.
Rasich.
Back again.
Back again.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk? No, but this is a really special episode, as the title suggests. Full disclosure, we had actually sat and recorded this episode last Friday. 90 minutes, that bad boy was.
But one of the mics were broken. And we're like, we cannot go out with
I just can't do it again. I was like, I just don't want people. Poor Katie cops the DMs as the podcast editor. Like, can you let Anna know that's out? So anyway, we went to the shops. We bought new mics because we're about to move into, as you all know, which is so exciting. We're about to move into the new studio, and so we will get in all this anyway. We're actually going to have full floor stands actually for the mics, not table stands for in the studio. But anyway, irrelevant information. But anyway, so we did sit down, my love, and we recorded this, and it was really special. And who knows where this one will go. We're going to obviously, it's the same story, so nothing changes. No buts.
We'll probably break it down into two episodes though, because like Anna said, we recorded and it was 90 minutes long. We're like, well, that's probably a bit long for a single episode. So we'll get going.
We will get going. Why it was so long though, and why we're going to break it down. So in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the preconception. This is what I had said to Ryan. I want to share the whole journey. I'm kind of going to interview you a little bit more because I feel like so many questions that I get from my inner circle to self-love school to in my DMs. You hear most of them because I always...
Yeah, you read them out to
me. I read them to you. But a lot is around, and from friends and foes, right? Like I people also hate on, he doesn't really want more kids. Like he's just doing it. Yeah. Rah, rah, rah. So I wanted to, in your own voice, in your own time, in your own way, flesh out of you, interview you, and have your voice on the kid thing.
Yep.
And then I really wanted to go into our conversations and intentions and, just conversations and intentions that we really did have from the absolute beginning. And
from night one.
We will talk about that because I really think it is such an enormous and beautiful and intentional part of the preconception. So we're going to break this down into two areas because that's what we really discovered when we did the recording. There are two huge aspects to our trying to conceive journey TTC at the moment. Number one is that like preconception.
Yeah.
We've just prefaced. And then the second part is actually we want to give the full supplement stack we're on, which obviously consult your own naturopath, consult your own health team. But we are going to share obviously our health, our sup stacks. There's, a chemical pregnancy story to share. Like there's a lot that we are literally going to talk you through. And also I think, do you reckon we'll probably include part of the vasectomy reversal in this one.
Yeah, definitely.
That will be in this one, friends. Okay, I was like, we honestly never figure out what we're going to do.
We've got no run sheet. We've got no go. We just sit down and talk. So.
I'm like, baby, come. Please come. And Zeusy, he's at my feet. He's off camera.
You'll probably hear him snoring.
At some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us begin. Two parts. Welcome to the very first episode on our TTC journey. Let's begin.
Yeah, well, like you said, what do you call it, TTC?
I call it TTC. We did touch on this on Friday's episode. So in the industry, and let us be honest, fertility is an industry. Mm-hmm. Birth should stay. It's so medicalized, but let me being in it now, I'm like, what a crock of shit. So anyway, that's what in the industry they call, as in TTC is not a crock of shit. I just think fertility and IVF, like the way that the medical system treats so many people, I believe, we're not in it yet, and we'll tell that story, but it's money making. Same thing as pharmaceutical, in my opinion. Drugs predominantly. But anyway, so I did say to Ryan, in the industry they do say the TTC, so trying to conceive. But it's interesting for me even in saying that because we know the word I dislike the most is trying.
Trying. Yeah, we do not try, we do.
We do or we do not. So I have even struggled with calling it TTC, but we will, for the purposes of this podcast, it is our trying to conceive.
It is our TTC journey.
So let's begin.
So we will start on night 1.
Okay.
So when we very first met, it's like, if you know me, I don't hide shit. Like
No.
if I'm talking, I talk from the heart. I talk what it is, what's happening. Like, I'm an open book. Mm-hmm. So on our walk home, I was telling Anna I had kids and all that jargon. She's like, oh.
I got Ryan's
good.
life story. It was beautiful.
She loves it. So she was like, oh, so I can actually call you daddy. I was like, if that tickles your pickle, let's go.
I can confirm that is correct.
So she knew from the start I had kids, and then I didn't inform her that I had a vasectomy,
which surprises me.
But until the second journey, or the second
date, or no, it was not a date.
Not a date.
The second
encounter.
Encounter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on our second encounter, when I'd come over, it is now home to me.
Yeah. Yes.
I told her, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I told you this before, but I actually have had a vasectomy. Mm-hmm. And she was like, great. But then at the same time, in her mind, she's like, well, you're not it.
Well, actually, it wasn't even in my own mind, was it? What did I say aloud to you?
You said it in your mind. You said it out loud, I should say.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Oh, well, you're not it then. I'm like, hold up. Straight away, that was my reaction. As soon as she said, well, you're not it, I'm like, hold up. I was like, you don't get to judge that. She goes, oh, but I want kids. And I'm like, yeah, well, I also would like more kids. I go, just because I've had the vasectomy doesn't mean that if I find the right woman that I'm not willing to get the reversal and make it happen. And she's like, can you even do that? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
I think so. So, yes, my version of that event was, exactly that. And the only thing I will add from my perspective of this journey is that the very first night I met Ryan, we have recorded that episode, but we obviously didn't get into like the total detail of this aspect because this is our TTC. But he was just different. He was different from the minute I laid eyes on him. For me, that's my truth, and all the besties know it. Lozzie was next to me. Like I couldn't even, all I could say when I spotted him was him. Like that's the one, him. So it was always different. And I joke with Ryan, okay, lean in, girls. Don't let Ryan hear this. But what I tell Ryan is that I learn all my tricks in the bedroom from the Bible. So he thinks it's from the Bible, right? Because I didn't sleep with anyone else but him. There was only 2 other men. So those 2 other men and the Bible, look, I was sometimes a root and Buddha. Like, God, in the Bible. I read about it in the Bible. So women in the Bible. No, but the truth is, I was in a very fun era. I was dating princes and toads and all, I was out there. This is like, I'd also locked myself down several weeks before meeting Ryan. But in that journey, I was always like, you just know, like you immediately know. I was like, not it, not it, not it, not it, not it. Now, I wasn't also, until I had fully declared the Queen era and then calling in the King and all the things, you've heard that story. I definitely immediately always knew with men. I was like, absolutely not it. Don't even want to date this guy. Never gave out my Instagram, never gave out my number. So anyway, the very first night I met Ryan, I was like, fuck. Like there's something here, like big time something here. So that was night 1. The second time, yes. So then he goes, but I will be honest, when he was like, I've got kids, and I did make that statement. Yeah. I can call you daddy for real. And I did.
She still does.
But yes, she does. But the second time, so that was already that's interesting, because I always thought that I would be with a man who was fresh, like didn't have kids. Cut to the second time. Then he's like, oh, and I've got a vasectomy. And I remember pulling back from you on the couch. We were just cuddling and talking and like connecting essentially. And I pulled back from you and I go, you're not it. Like, and the audacity of me also, like the balls on me. And And that was your response. You were like, hang on a minute. You said, hang on a minute. You don't get to decide that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, talk dirty to me. But yeah, so we had that conversation. And then when you told me you were like, I would get it reversed for the right woman, I was like, can you even do that? That raised a bunch of other questions. But the point of this is to say that literally from the first night, I definitely knew something was different about him. From the second time, it's not like I'm like, I knew I wanted to have his babies, but the fact that my body viscerally responded when you had said, I've got a vasectomy, my body was so confused because I mentally wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have this guy's babies, but fucking clearly my body knew, and I'm not kidding, because it was like, oh, like I couldn't control the words that came out of my mouth. Then what was next? That was sort of it. Like
that was sort of the gist of it. But when if you were to ask me a question and say, well, did I want more kids? I'd be like, yeah, because I remember when I first got, I only got the vasectomy once, but when I got the vasectomy, I remember asking the doctor then, I was like, if I get this, is it possible to get it reversed? And he's like, yeah. He goes, are you sure you want to get it done? I'm like, yeah, that's the decision we've made. So me and my ex-partner at the time, that's the decision we came to because she had the 3 kids and I sat there and smiled and went, hey, did my job.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, she did that. I'm like, I will do my part.
Absolutely. Fair's fair.
Well, I wasn't thinking we're going to break up at the time.
No,
so
of course.
I was like, okay, well, she doesn't want more kids. I was like, and I voiced them, like, I'm good, I would like more, but she only wanted the 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. But I also spoke to her and I told her if we ever get to a position that we're in a position that we could adopt or foster kids, would she be up to that? And she agreed to it and said yes. I'm like, oh, well, there's always that aspect we can go through.
Yeah.
If we wanted more.
Which I love.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted more kids.
Yeah, so from the get-go, you've heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan wanted more kids. So this whole, why would he want more? And I can't believe he wants, Ryan always wanted more kids. So when I met him, it wasn't like I'm the one that, I mean, yes, I definitely am the one, but also the desire was in you 20 years, we've kind of worked out because you're shocking with dates, but you roughly sort of remember your vasectomy was like maximum 8 years ago.
About 8 years ago.
So 8 years ago, which was long before me, you had one or more kids.
Yeah.
So we got it on the mic. So just so people understand, like, was it me? Is it like he didn't want them and he was done and then you've always said that you want more and you were going to foster and adopt. So then, and also why did you want kids young? Why don't we say that? Because you had your babies as a baby.
Yeah, well, I was 20 when my partner got pregnant at the time.
Wild.
Well, she was older than me.
Yeah.
So she was, what was it, 4 years older than me? 5?
5. Isn't she?
No, 4 years older.
I think you're 6 years older than me and she was 5 years older than you. I think we worked that out.
Yeah, 77. Yeah, she's actually 5 years older.
Yeah.
So she was older. So she was wanting kids and because she was hoping to have all her kids out of the way before she turned 30.
Did you guys know you wanted 3?
No.
Okay.
But that's, I won't go into all that journey because that was...
Well, no, for her her privacy.
She doesn't, we don't need the world for that. But
no.
She wanted kids and I was like, yeah, I'm down. I love, even at a young age, I loved kids. Like I remember when I was young, so I was 4 when my baby sister was born.
Yeah.
And my mum would tell me that I would just adore the shit out of her. So I basically helped raise her when I was younger. And then, you've always had a good connection with kids.
You never told me that. That is so cute.
And then when my niece came along, I think I was only 18 at the time when my niece and my older brother had his baby. And same thing, when she came along, she was my world. I'm just like, I had pictures of her all over the wall. Oh, and
that's so cute.
I just love kids.
You are a big kid.
But
yourself.
anyone that knows me knows that of me.
Yeah.
Like
that
when
is very
I
true.
go to family barbecues and that, I will literally pass all the adults and that and go straight to the kids in the backyard playing and start playing and make sure I say hi to all the kids before I go back with the adults.
Yeah. We just actually went home for when my uncle died, and we went over to Rotto, and Mum, like we were all laying there sunbaking, and my 2 nephews were down playing by the water, and we were like, where did Ryan go? Like we kind of like, Mum and I were chatting, and then Ryan had been behind me sort of baking, and then Mum goes, where's Ryan gone? I'm like, where are the kids? This was my answer. I go, well, where are the kids? Because I didn't know exactly. They're old enough. And Mum goes, by the water. And I was like, well, Ryan will be there. It's literally, I was like, Ryan will be there. And she was like, oh, and then anyway, she pointed out where the kids were, and I was like, yep, there he is. And you were like teaching them how to roll balls and making them sandcastles, and you were just an innate father.
Yeah.
Like you were just a beautiful human that adores kids. So you had kids early, because that's another part of the journey as well. Like that was because I suppose why I'm unpacking this as well is I definitely know, not that it matters and not that we give a fuck about any external opinion, but I definitely know sharing my life, me being on this podcast as long as I have, that's another component that does come up. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he's going back in to do nappies and babies again when your youngest, who lives with us, who's about to come home in a minute, is 18.
Yeah, he turns 18 in 3 weeks' time.
Can't wait. We're having a big party. Can't wait. But yeah, but for me, when I asked you that again and again and again and again. So in our preconception journey with us, the conversations from the get-go of intentionality, planning, sincerity, depth, truth.
And it's something that you need to do, and you're in a new relationship too, is make sure that you're both on the same page and both traveling in the same trajectory.
Correct.
So to make sure that we're on the path, you need to ask those questions.
Yeah.
There was also one point I said to you when we were talking about kids. We were in the sauna at my old place.
Yeah.
And I asked you, we were talking about it, I was like, are you sure you want kids? And then you stepped back and you're like, oh, why do you say that? I'm like, because the way we're talking, you're a bit hesitant when we talk about it sometimes.
And full disclosure, so this is a really powerful moment. This is probably the pivotal moment for me with you though, and almost I need to give context on this, but ultimately this was very early on. So this would have been like 5 weeks into us dating. And I remember, because kids were such an important next part of my journey, and I knew that whomever, like I was looking for my king, but that king's role is also baby daddy.
Yeah.
And that was just the deepest, biggest desire and thing on my list. And so babies were such an enormous part. I mean, even the other dates I went on, I always asked it. Like, it was like, do you want to be a dad? You know, do you have kids? Do you want kids? And that was even actually figured out before I went on a date, because I wouldn't even go on a date if they didn't, because I was like, well, it's pointless. If I want to fuck, I'll go to the club and shoot a guy out of a barrel. Like, I was like, if it's
so the Bible says.
So the Bible says. I read it in Ezekiel 11 verse 12. The Bible taught me so. But it's true, right? So I was always having those conversations. So yes, when I met Ryan, that was a huge part. And because we feel so fast, and we both did know where it was going in essence so quickly, the conversations were deep. The conversations were very headed towards preconception, basically, and what would that look like. And I remember Ryan, cut to, we're in the sauna, and Ryan pulled back and looked at me with his piercing warrior eyes and called me on it, and was basically like, do you even really want kids though? Because there is a hesitancy in you. And I pulled back myself and I was like, yeah, because I don't want to scare you off. And that was my big thing. I said, holy fuck, if you really want me to land into this, I will land into this. But I was like, it was so new, and I was like, I don't know if you were the baby daddy.
You didn't want to push it.
Yeah, I was
hard.
like, I don't want to be like, yes, you're it. And I remember saying to my mum and my besties, because they were all just like, he is the one. Like, game over, stop looking, this is it. Because at the time I had been dating, and so there was a few other like hanger-oners, and they definitely weren't it, but I was always like, I don't know. Like, it felt so big and overwhelming almost to be like, fuck, is this the one? And then when you said that, it was like it was like safety for my hormones to finally go, okay, like, he's declaring it, like you wanted it. So I was like, I do, but I don't want to scare you off. And you're like, I'm not scared. Like, if this is what you want, then this is what I want.
Well, like you said, there was big feelings from the start, and then when we were discussing it, I could feel your hesitation.
Yeah.
And then after that day, it was almost an allowance for you, or the opening door for you to go, oh, I can actually let all my feelings out.
I can claim this.
And go, yeah, I do want kids. And then I could feel the change in you after that. And I was like, okay.
Katie, if you zoom in on Ryan's eyes, he's getting very emotional.
Every time we talk about the kids, so.
It's the most beautiful. Can I also just say, so often, and you know this, when I've got Ryan on the podcast, because you are so beautiful, and like you're always like, yeah, baby, I'll come on, because we're close to each other, and I can see you start to get emotional. So often I start to talk, because Ryan has big feelings, so I'll start to talk to just let him get like come back and recenter. So that was really beautiful. And I will say, from that moment on, so that was a big moment. That was literally 4 to 5 weeks into our relationship. You hadn't claimed me as a girlfriend yet. That was like 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later. We said I love you a week after that, basically, in Vanuatu. Yeah. And you'd asked me to be your girlfriend like the day before we left, which I adore. And then cut to Vanuatu. I want to share that story.
Okay.
Do you want to share that story? You share that story.
You share that story. Okay. So we were in Vanuatu, and like Anna said, before we'd gone there, we'd already cemented, both of us, that yes, we're in this. We want kids together.
We want the babies.
We were in Vanuatu, and we were sitting by the beach, and we were talking about it, and then all of a sudden a gust of wind like blew up, and I just got this overwhelming feeling that our kids were, now that we'd gone, yeah, we're in, they were around us.
The spirit babies arrived.
And I was like, baby, they're here.
Yeah, so my version of events was, so we were, I think we'd been talking about it, or we were in discussion of it, and this gust of wind out of nowhere came. Like, it was very esoteric. And this gust of wind came, and like almost at the same time, Ryan, or you closed your eyes, and like you were such a like warrior, but like you close your eyes, this gust of wind comes, and I'm just staring at you like, what's going on? Like, I love your connection to spirit and world and nature and everything. But I was like, what's going on? And you open your eyes, and you were very emotional, and you looked at me, and you were like, they're here. And I burst into tears. I knew exactly what I was like. I know it was like, they're here. And I wasn't like, who's here? It wasn't like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, they're here. So that was a really, again, preconception. Like, this was the level of connection to our spirit babies we were tapping into, the conversations we were having, the intentions we were setting. And then came, I suppose, more the serious side of it, which was a huge component for me and for you that we both didn't know was such a connected sense of forwardness, I suppose, in the conversation, which was parenting.
Yes.
So I had always known for years, from experience of self and just from watching friends, etc., and just knowing statistics and coaching women, that a huge source of contention for so many people is like different parenting styles. And for me personally, it was always like women saying, fuck, I wish I had the conversation before we had kids. So Morgs and I had always, like my ex and I had always like been intentional in those conversations. So when I remember, I think you actually instigated it. and you were like, how do you want to parent though? So again, huge part of preconception for me was making absolute sure that we were on the same page, but you initiated it again, which I adore.
Yeah, because I always wanted to do chores, like make my kids
for example,
like earn their keep at home. So if there's dishes to get washed, they get taught how to do the dishes. Like a parent's job is to make sure that their children are self-sufficient and able to move out and no longer need you anymore, basically.
Which I love. When Ryan said that, Ryan goes, the way I see it is a parent's role ultimately is to raise a sound, integral, whole human and ensure that when the time comes that they are let out in the world, they are a functioning adult, a human being. I was like, preach, amen.
Yeah, you got to parent yourself out of a job.
Yes.
So you no longer have to be a parent anymore.
Yeah.
Is the aim of a parent.
Yeah.
But I never had that discussion when I was 20 and thinking babies.
Yeah.
And
why would you have?
My ex just wanted to do everything for the kids. So just everything.
You just had different parenting styles.
It was completely different parenting styles. I was old school where you get given chores, you get a meal put in front of you, you don't eat it, you don't eat. There's no extra meal made up for you, so you have the food. It's like, here's the food. This is what everyone's eating. Either eat it or don't eat it. It's your choice. There's chores to get done. Everyone does their chores, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't find that with mine, and it's on me as well as a father to install that. But when you have someone that has a different opinion to parenting to yours, you can't always fight it. And you're like, well, I would like this, you would like that. And then I'm just like, oh.
Yeah,
so it's one thing I wanted to make sure with you is that, okay, are you up for doing this with chores? Because I want the kids to be able to do it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to make sure that we parent right. Like, my kids are great.
Yeah. Your kids are amazing.
I just wish they had done more when they were growing up. And like,
they learn though. I mean, one called me the other day. Izzy called me the other day asking privacy.
Floor cleaner.
Yeah, but I was like, you go to the aisle with the cleaner, but they're learning and they're amazing, and Logan's getting better. But no, so that was a huge part again of preconception. So we have unpacked that for 2 years. We've literally been talking about that, and little things will happen, and we won't go into detail. That will be a pineapple, more for privacy, I think, for the kids and stuff. But there's things, because I get to watch Ryan parent as well, and I get to speak to his kids about, and I have asked his kids, haven't I? How many times have I unpacked things with your kids, with you, or unpacked personally with your kids because I've asked questions or they've seen me, or how I, not parent them because I'm a mate, but there is an element now with Logs living here. But there's been moments where we have gone, oh, this is interesting. This probably will be like a reparenting moment, or this is how when we have children, it will look different, and I can't wait for that. But we've really, we are actively working so hard on ourselves at the moment and together in relationship and setting boundaries and rules, essentially, not rules, but consciously choosing how we want to parent, consciously choosing how we want to prioritize each other, which is first.
Yeah.
Consciously choosing how we want to make sure that your other kids are there's just no ending and beginning. It's like they are siblings and that's that. There's no the first kids, the next kids. It's it's just the kids. We are consciously choosing to get ourselves ready physically, financially, spiritually, sexually, just healthily in every way, shape and form, which I think for me has been a really beautiful, not hard at all, interesting, important, I think is the word I'm most looking for.
Yeah.
Part of the preconception before we then started in the journey of the vasectomy reversal. Then there was so I suppose from there, so that was the beautiful precursor, right?
And I think that's what a lot of people before they have kids don't do.
Yeah.
Is they don't have those conversations about how they want to parent, or they don't get their life set up. So when the kids come along, they're kind of scratching at
Yeah.
clawing their way through it all. And when I was younger, that's how I did it.
I
didn't have a clue.
I was about to say, the beautiful thing about having this conversation now in 2025, is that I sit here a fucking greenie. Like I am like, what a gift. I can come at this with this level of healing, this level of consciousness, this level of intention. But I understand and absolutely respect for most people that is not the way that they have got to enter parenthood for whatever reason. And I'm like, yourself included.
Yeah.
Like you sit there being a 20-year-old.
I had no idea.
Correct.
Had no idea. But in saying that, all the work that we've done and that you've done on yourself and that still can't prepare you for it.
Absolutely not.
Like you said, like 2 seconds ago, you're coming in green.
I'm coming in green, friends.
And when the baby comes, like every single child is different. Like my 3 kids I had.
So different.
Well, every single one of them was different.
Yeah.
When we have kids again, they will be different.
Yeah.
But you learn and you adjust.
The one thing I am exceedingly grateful for is you. Like I know what a boss you are with kids. I know how, like Ryan said to me the other day, like he was like, baby, I can't remember. We were talking about night feeds, like at this level. This is the kind of conversations we have. And we're talking about night feeds. And Ryan goes, yeah, but baby, I'll be with you. And I was like, no, baby, you got to sleep because you don't have a tit. Like you can't feed. And then you were like, yeah, but we can express and I can have a bottle and da-da-da. And even if not, I'm going to be up with you because I want to emotionally. And you said, you were like, I did it with my first 3.
Yeah, even that, like a father can get up and change a nappy.
Amen.
Can soothe the child or try to soothe the child.
Yeah.
And then when it is just up for a feed, you can still be up to help and make sure that they're up and settled before you go, okay, well, I've got to get up for work in 3 hours. I'm going to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But you can still do stuff to help. It's not I don't have a tit, I can't do shit.
Yeah. Amen. Friends, amen. So so I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I'm green. I'm aware I have no fucking idea and who knows. But what I am also aware of is that I'm 30. I'll be 37, like God willing, when I have the baby. I'm about to turn 37 next month. So yes.
Disclose, we don't know if we're pregnant.
No, we are not pregnant as of recording right now. Well, we don't know if we're actually pregnant. We could be. Who knows? But we are trying. So but I'm due my period in like a couple of weeks, so who knows. But no, so we don't know at this point, and we'll get to that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Completely green, completely unaware. Oh, but I am 37, God willing, when I have this child, and I have made it no secret that I have literally spent a lifetime getting myself to this position. So it does look a little bit different for me. I do have I can financially support myself. You can financially support me and us. So there's that. I've got the financial stability, which 80%, if the Pareto rule, many anyway, women don't always necessarily have. I have the finances to bring in any and all help that I need or desire. I did choose to move away from my entire support network and family several years ago.
That does make it hard.
Correct. I don't have a mum. I don't have my sister. I don't have that to lean on. But you better make damn sure I'll be having an au pair or whomever I need. And I love when women that have all their family around them that don't have a nanny or whatever will be like, I can't believe she gets hired help. And it's like, shut up, lady. You've got your fucking mum 4 minutes down the road. Like.
Or even those that like you throw your kid into daycare.
Yeah, enough. Like no judgment anywhere.
Throwing your
like
kid to daycare to having an au pair.
Have an au pair, have a nanny, have your mum, have your brother, have your sister, have whatever. And if you have no help and you're a martyr about that, then have that. But that's yours to have. So for me, I'm just saying like the healing that I've done on myself to not be having children to tick a box, to not be having children to fill a wound, to not be having children to project onto, to not be having children to entrap a man, to not be having children, like whatever the reason that many, like, and truth be told, I've told this story all of the time. I know in my last relationship, that was the conversation I constantly had. I knew I wanted to be a mum. I knew that I would be a mum. But at the time, I didn't feel it. I wasn't ready. I'll never be ready, but I can't explain how much I knew that what I knew, and my body said no. And so I trusted that. But He was great. He was incredible. He was kind. He could have supported all of the things, but my body said no. And so if I had have had a child then, which I could have because I was still in the same situation, I had support by him.
Yep.
I had the finances. I had done my healing, etc. I'd be ticking a box. I would have absolutely been ticking a box because I was a certain age. We've been together a certain amount of time.
You're like, it's just the next step.
Thing to do. So what I'm saying is, yes, I am green. And I have absolutely no idea, just like every other woman that has gone before me
And
globally.
I'm looking forward to it.
You are. But also, like I said, there's all these other things that I'm proud of and I'm excited by as a woman going from maiden to mother. I am also aware is absolutely going to help my journey because I know when this comes and say, blessedly or luckily, I have someone that will be doing meals. You'll be home. I have some help. I can still take time. I can do those things, whatever that looks like for me in whatever capacity. And if I can't do it, I can hire help. Then will come the comments, wait and watch, but you're so lucky. Or, yeah, but, right? And I'll say, I'll be able to go back to episode 101 or whatever. It's like I honoured that. I spoke about that. So my point is, if we're going to talk about preconception, this is the level of preconception, consciousness, readiness, conversation, intention, planning that I have and then now as the king we have gone through. So anything else to add, Mela? And now cut to reversal.
Well, did we want to save that for the next episode and we'll go all through that?
Sure.
Yeah. So we might pull this one up here.
Okay, Bobby.
And then when we go to the next episode, we'll talk about starting on the back foot.
Yeah.
And then the journey we've gone through to what we are now.
Yeah.
Which is an up and down roller coaster.
Yeah.
So
So this was the preconception one. Kat, is there anything else you'd like to add? Like, is there anything, let me say this, is there anything that you're nervous about as a dad again?
Coming through this period again?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay. I haven't actually asked him that.
Because I have done this. Although it was 18 years ago.
Or 21.
Well, it started 21 years ago, but 18 years, like my youngest is turning 18. It was 18 years ago. Like I still am in that mindset. Like there's a crying baby. I'm that guy that's like, bring her here, bring him here.
Yeah.
I was like, I got it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just in me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Polynesian in me that just loves kids and just wants to be around kids.
Could be a little bit of that.
But I'm not scared.
Ryan is literally the guy, you are the guy that like if there is a crying baby, firstly he will just help you. But second of all, like you are the one that will calm it. I remember, I'll tell a quick story. I love her. We're like friends today. But there was a beautiful, I won't give names just to protect her privacy.
Yeah. We were at a mate's 40th.
We were at a party back in the beginning again. So early days, we were at a party. Ryan had taken me along to like meet some of his friends. We're at a 40th birthday party and we were by the pool and I didn't know a soul. And we were chatting to some girl. I was chatting to some girls by myself actually, and they both had their gorgeous kids there, and one was like maybe 2, maybe just under, she was maybe 18 months. And anyway, they were stressed, like the kids were just, it was witching hour as well, like they were hungry, they were tired, they were stressed, and everyone was trying to settle, like all the friends were trying to settle this one younger baby. And no one could do it. The mum couldn't do it. The best friend, it would be like if me, Lozzie and Katie and Shani were all there, like I'd try and take Stevie or like it just that no one could do it. Anyway, and I'm chatting about, like they were asking me questions like, oh, who are you here with, da-da-da. And I'm talking about my king and he's so amazing and da-da-da-da-da. And I remember, and fair enough, like they were like, oh, like be careful, and they show you all the good colours in the beginning, blah blah blah, like just really
because it was still fresh. We hadn't even announced that we were.
No.
It
This is like
public.
4 weeks, I think 5 weeks maybe.
It was actually our very first little.
It was the glitch night we soft launched this night.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then along pops up the king. He hears the crying baby first and foremost. And he pops up and he was like cooing, like you're cooing. And she was like, oh, and you were like, oh, is it okay if I try? And she was like, oh, look, kind of exasperated, was like, you can try, but everyone's tried. She's she's hungry, she's tired, and I was like, baby, everyone's tried. Like I'm like, read the room, like but he literally heard this crying baby, calms over and is like, can I try? And she's like, nah. Anyway, she goes to you, this little baby goes to you. I would have thought, I think
she didn't leave me for the rest of the night.
10 seconds later, and I had stood there for like 15 minutes watching everyone try and feed her, calm her, coo her, hold her. No, she's screaming tantrum. Ryan comes over. The girl's like, oh, whatever, just take her or don't. But like if she won't go to you, went to you. And you literally had her calm and cooing and like gooey-eyed up at you in like 10 seconds. And then I remember this beautiful woman, and like I said, we're friends today, was like, firstly was like, what the fuck? Keep him. She was like, everything I just said, ignore it, keep him, get a fucking baby in you. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to. And then literally the rest of the night, because then she did go to bed, but for probably like an hour or two after that, if I'd be like, where's Ryan? And you'd just see him playing with.
I was walking around the whole house with her up and down the stairs.
Playing with her. Yeah. Like it was
good because she had never climbed stairs before.
Yeah.
And then I had her and I was getting her up and down the stairs. She'd climb, then she'd look at me and I'd hold her hand and me and her would walk
like,
a couple steps up and I'm like, no, you can do it yourself. And then she's crawled up a couple of stairs by herself, looked to reach out. I'm like, no, you got it.
Oh, it was so cute.
Yeah, and she was proud of herself and I was like, hey.
But my loves, that's all to say that this man is a baby whisperer. So I know I'm in very capable, good hands and I'm very excited to parent with you. I'm very excited to, reparent.
Yeah.
Reparent. Well, I'm parenting for the first time, so I can say that. I'm very excited to see which one comes through first. The plan is 2, God willing, back to back, hope maybe twins, who knows. And yeah, anything else, my love?
No, that'll do us for this one.
So no fear, no final question?
No fear at all.
Yeah, I have none.
Yeah.
And then final question, what are you most looking forward to about parenting again?
Mine would be seeing how you go with it all. I laughed the other day, so I don't know if the listeners here follow Anna, but I recently had surgery on my knee.
Oh, my God.
And I got her to change the dressing on it.
Hold on. You didn't get me to do anything. I volunteered.
Well, I was more than happy to do it myself. She's like, no, I'll do it for you. I want to play the nurse. And then I'm like, okay. And then her reaction to it, I'm like, you sure you want to? She goes, I've got to learn. If we have babies and anything happens and I got to do it, I got to be able to do it. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. What was that? I was trying exposure therapy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do exposure therapy to like
and
blood and guts.
She claims she used to be very good with stuff and now she's weak.
I suck.
So it's good. So I'm excited to you because babies shit, babies spew, babies hurt themselves.
Poo, farts, pooing and farting, spewing, like anything, blood, even blood, I'm fine. It's open wounds. It's like gashes. If they fall and smash their head open or like if anything, like it's the open wound and stitches that I struggle with. So I'm doing exposure therapy, guys, just in case, because I said to Ryan, I don't want to be the mum as well that's like can't handle it. So it's like, just go to your dad. Like I was like, if you're away or something happens, but I was telling someone this and they were like, yeah, but when you're a mum, like it just kicks in. You just do it anyway. And I was like, okay, cool. So you can get fucked on all your future wounds. That is all you. Apparently when I'm a mum, it's all just going to happen naturally and it all just kicks in. So
yeah. But I'm also excited to just parent with you.
Yeah.
As a team and just watch the babies grow.
Cute.
So
get fitter and hotter.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
That is our goal.
All right, my loves. Well, that is episode 1. I wanted to just, give a voice and sort of set the scene essentially on the level of conversation and truth and transparency and love and intention. that our TTC journey had before the first surgery of a reversal even began. I have recently gotten some DMs asking about your reversal because people are curious. And so, as in, because their partners are the same. Yeah. So another huge reason that we wanted to do these episodes, it's going to be becoming a mother is about the biggest fucking thing I'm ever going to do in my life. And also the vulnerability and the depth of honesty we're going to in the next episode.
Share.
Yeah, around the reversal, around the journey thus far, hopes and dreams, fears, etc., is because I just always know that telling your story serves someone somewhere, and it's just who I've always been. It's what I've always done, and ultimately, as I am pregnant, on my journey to pregnancy, get pregnant, have the baby. The baby will not feature on any social medias. I will tell you that much right now. But my journey in motherhood will, for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to share the journey, bring you along on this little update, and serve as many as we can. So that's it, baby.
That'll do us for this one.
Do you want to end it with what I always say?
Okay. Thank you for joining us on this journey. As always, stay wild.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Anything Goes. And if today's episode gave you maybe a new perspective, a little bit of a laugh, you learned something new, or just loved our trip to Taboo Town if we went there, it would honestly mean the world to me if you could leave me some love with writing a review and sharing this episode to your socials. You have no idea how much that helps my little podcast get out in the world. If you love what you gain from these conversations weekly with me as well and want more than just listening in, come and join my inner circle. It's my monthly mastermind where for just $47 a month, the real magic happens. You get me up close, no filter, live coaching. And if you get what you get from this free podcast, imagine what you get in a paid container. Links are in the show notes, friends. And until next time, stay wild.